All right, so I think it's been a couple of weeks since I've done one of these buy reveals, or I won't put it in the title because God knows, apparently YouTube doesn't like that, an unboxing video. But it's about that time, and I think the last one I did on this channel was about the Walter Payton Sports Illustrateds I had bought, and I had referenced that I was going to start heavily buying the Michael Jordan ones with the intention being that I was going to get every Michael Jordan Sports Illustrated cover. And that is the goal, and that will happen. And I can already say I'm about halfway to that reality. I'm waiting for a bunch more to come in as we speak. And I'll try to find other magazine covers with Michael Jordan to the point where I'm going to try and plan to have, if not an entire room at this point, but at least a vast portion of this one-man room dedicated to Michael Jordan-related things. Because would seem only right and only natural that I would do something like that. So let me go ahead and show you what I've been able to get in so far. And again, there's a lot more to come. This is just the beginning. I'll start off with a couple of old Newsweeks that I've gotten, and I'll be looking specifically for other Newsweek because there's a couple others, including the one with him and Magic and Larry that I haven't gotten yet that I plan on getting my hands on. I know there's some Time magazine covers I need to get with him on it and so on and so forth. But the Newsweek ones, we got a couple. First is the greatest ever, the collector's issue, which of course is to commemorate his 3 straight NBA championships and was around the time that he retired, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, which we all know truly what that meant, which was he was going to save the universe from the basketball playing aliens called the Monstars. You don't believe me? There's a documentary out there in the $5 to $7 bins at Walmart called Space Jam. Greatest movie ever. Greatest story ever told. Greatest lies ever told. Hashtag alternative facts. Hashtag fake news is that he played baseball and played for the Wizards and just a bunch of balderdash. Oh, look at that. And then, after he had successfully vanquished the Monstars, of course, hoop dreams. Will Michael Jordan return to basketball? Of course he was going to return to basketball, but this edition, that was on my birthday, March 20th, 1995. Back when I was 14 years old. Man, that was a long, long time ago. Look at that. Really cool classic cover right there. So those are the 2 Newsweeks that I've gotten, and I've got quite a few Sports Illustrateds, but like I said, there's probably about 20 more in the pike that have been ordered that I'm just waiting to be delivered. I'm just going to run through the ones I've gotten so far, and I will say this is that when it comes to getting these Sports Illustrateds, one of the challenges is getting those that were either newsstand editions, or if you happen to get one that was a mail edition that the label has been cleanly removed successfully, where you don't see a bunch of residue on it. That could be a challenge, and so it can take a little bit to find some of these. But we'll start off with the June 10th, 1991 edition, Magic versus Michael. Look at that. This was, back at that time, all the buzz and all the rage in the sports world as Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson were going to finally meet in the NBA Finals. And we know how that turned out. Bulls in 5. Dominance. Just absolute dominance. But for a 10-year-old kid like myself back then in 1991, this was a big effing deal. I mean, this was massive. After finally getting past the Pistons in the playoffs, now you're going to go to the finals and face the Lakers and face Magic Johnson? Oh, yes. Speaking of passing the Pistons, finally, which was the June 3rd, 1991 edition, as the Bulls finally got past the Detroit Pistons in the NBA playoffs after having lost to them the previous 3 seasons. I miss those days where a team had to progress, they had to grow together, they had to improve, and they had this obstacle they couldn't overcome, but then eventually they did. We just don't see that today now. Today, you would have had Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars go play with Michael Jordan. It's just crazy how that all worked. But the Michael Jordan-led Bulls reached their first NBA Finals, finally, June 3rd, 1991. What else do we have here? Ah, yes. One of my favorite covers out of the 50, the August 14th, 1989 edition, Jordan's My Name, Golf's My Game. I love this cover. I don't know why. I was always disappointed. I think it had to do with the cigar, easy for me to say, cutter injury where he kind of mangled his, I think it was his right index finger in 99. I was always disappointed that as much as he loves golf, there's a part of me that wonders sometimes if he almost loved golf every bit as much as basketball, that he didn't give it more of a go to actually try and play professionally as a golfer, even if it came someday on the senior tour. Could you imagine the draw and appeal of Michael Jordan on a pro golf tour? Could you imagine that? It'd just be crazy. What else do we have here? Going back a little bit more in the Wayback Machine. May 16th, 1988. NBA playoffs, sky high. Look at that action shot. You got Michael Jordan there. You got Brad Daugherty looking on. You got a young Scottie Pippen in the background. My goodness, look at that. That's from Pippen's rookie season. Yeah, back in the 88 playoffs. Unbelievable. What else do we have? Oh, going back to his early days. Look at this. This is at the beginning of year 3, which was, of course, the year he averaged over 37 a game, coming off of the heels of the previous year where he missed the 60-plus games due to the foot injury, but then lit up the Celtics in Game 2 of the opening round for 63 points in that double overtime loss. The one-man gang, the November 17th, 1986 edition. Look at Michael Jordan there. That's Michael Thompson. Oh, my goodness. Look at young Michael. He still had hair. See what happens, LeBron, when you accept reality? Even the GOAT realized it was time to shave his head. But the big get, and this was honestly a Sports Illustrated that I had before, but before I moved out here a few years ago, I gave it to the Dan Gable Wrestling Museum for their Hall of Fame weekend so we could auction it off for their silent auction to raise money for the museum. And I figured, at some point in time, this will probably raise like 40 or 50 bucks for them, and I can always rebuy another one of them. It's probably my favorite Jordan cover of all time for Sports Illustrated, if not my second favorite. It's the July 23rd, 1984 edition. Up, up, fella, lay, as of course the Jordan-led Olympic team in 84 went on to win gold in Los Angeles. Look at that shot, man. 1984, young Michael. Sports Illustrated, I think, was only catching on to the superstar, the phenomenon that was to come with Michael Jordan. And I got this. This is a newsstand edition. No residue from a label that I could see at all. I got this one for about 20 bucks. So I thought this was a really good buy. And the average purchase price for each of these was about 10 bucks, some of them plus shipping, some of them without. So I've spent some money on them, yes. But eventually I'll get them framed. And again, remember the whole premise of this is trying to up the man room game significantly. And my hope is by the end of the year that I've got all 50 Jordan Sports Illustrateds, that I've got a lot more memorabilia, so that way I can really have this man room pimped out as we get to 2018, give me more angles and places that I can record from, just give a better ambiance to the room and give me a shelter, a haven to escape from the demon. Because we all know deep down, fellas, we don't get a lot in this world, once especially the women sink their claws into you. One of our few bastions of refuge is our man room. And with their permission, they're not going to take this away from us. And most certainly the demon's not going to take this away from me. This is my man room. Mine, mine, mine. And by God, soon enough, it's going to be a man room that all of you can be proud of.